The views expressed on this program are those of the producers and individuals appearing on this program and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Sun Prairie Media Center staff, its video service providers, or the staff and elected officials of the City of Sun Prairie.
Hello and welcome to Real Reviews. My name is Jameson Rabbit, and the man seated next to me knows exactly what grimace is. His name is Mike Roth.
He is a shake.
He's a shake?
Yes, he is a shake. If you notice, everybody has like a food representative.
Yes.
Grimace, in the beginning, he always had the shake. I don't think they knew how to make ice cream back then when they had costume.
The purple blob, that's a shake?
Maybe their shakes were not of quality back then. I am
that
just telling
only
you.
makes him more nightmarish than he already was to me.
Yeah, you just picture that big purple gumdrop shake going down your throat and doing a little dance.
I've pictured it, and I haven't slept for weeks.
I kind of miss they used to have Fry Guys.
The Playland, yeah, Birdie,
Mayor
all of them.
McCheese. Nothing. You don't see them anymore.
McDonald's used to be fun. Nobody cared if clogging your arteries.
No.
This is not a spot for them.
No.
Instead, what it is a movie review show, and we are here to talk about some fun flicks, ? And I'm going to get us started off by handing it off to you, sir, for what we have on the marquee this week.
I have Separation. This is the big horror movie that's brand new, directed by William Brent Bell. What we have is Jeff. He is played by Rupert Friend. He is going through a divorce with his wife Maggie, played by Mamie Gummer. Yep,
Yeah,
I said that
that's
right.
a name.
Yeah, that's a terrible name.
It really is.
Anyhow, the divorce isn't going very well. Jeff, he is a comic book writer, but he hasn't really done anything in a while. He's out of a job, and he's just spending his days trying to be creative, trying to get his groove in, not bringing in a paycheck. He's considered a little irresponsible by Maggie. And Jeff also tends to hang out with a babysitter a little bit too much, Samantha, which is obvious she has a little crush on him. I do not know why they need a babysitter. He doesn't have a job. But anywho, they do. They have one. Maggie makes money. And so they're going to go through the divorce. Maggie and her father, Rivers, played by Brian Cox, they are going to go after full custody. They're going to move Maggie and the child, Jenny, played by Violet McGraw, all the way to Seattle, so he would be very far away from his child. He cannot handle this. This is not going well. Jenny, she is going a little nuts because every time her parents are together, they're fighting. She has imaginary friends and blah, blah, blah. And then Maggie gets hit by a car.
Oh, jeez.
Boom!
Didn't see that coming.
Dead.
Whoa.
Don't know where the driver is, and they mention this, which is kind of foreshadowing that we're going to hear more about the driver later on in the story. And Jenny starts getting spectral visitors. She believes it's her mom. Of course, it's kind of not pleasant looking. Mm-hmm. It's all gross and twisted, and we feel like it's a menacing spirit that's going to kill. Jeff is having these weird flashbacks that have all these red herrings on what is probably happening, and they're just false leads because you always remember they haven't found the driver for the car, and there's only one other character, the babysitter with the crush. All right, don't want to ruin it for you, but when you watch it, you might feel it's ruined already. Yeah. I could sit through this.
Okay.
It passed to time.
God, these are some of my favorite pull quotes.
Yeah, this is not getting on the cover of the DVD.
Yeah.
That's all I could say. It is a 2.5 movie. Your time will be spent.
Your time will be spent. Mike Roth. Was it scary at least?
No. It's I mean, there's some creepy images. He used to write kind of a grisly comic, happy, gross-looking things. But I don't know.
Nothing
No, there's a lot, and they kind of build it up for a sequel, but they're not going to have a
great.
sequel
Can't wait.
unless people are just so hard up to go to.
We've seen worse movies get made into sequels, though.
I did. We did.
We've done that many times.
I feel like this is going to be a little bit like the movie that we reviewed a little over 7 years ago.
Yeah.
Where we were just talking about it. Quiet Ones.
Quiet Ones, yeah.
I had to watch the trailer.
What a forgettable movie, huh?
Yeah. I kind of remember that.
Vaguely. I'm going to get into our streaming spotlight for this week, sir, where we turn to Netflix, I believe, for The Mitchells versus the Machines from directors Michael Randa and Jeff Rowe, and a crew of people who also worked on Into the Spider-Verse, who helped make this movie the visual that it is. It's your basic, ordinary family going through normal family problems. The Mitchells. You have the daughter, Katie, voiced by Abby Jacobson. The mom, Linda, voiced by Maya Rudolph. The dad, Rick. That's Danny McBride. And then the little brother, Aaron, who is voiced by the director, Michael Randa. And their pug, Munchie. They're just doing their normal thing. The oldest daughter, Katie, is an aspiring filmmaker. She's never felt like she truly is seen or heard at home, never truly finds her place. She's really looking forward to going off to film school and finding her people. But before she can, she and her dad, who has been kind of oblivious to everything with her, have kind of a falling out. And he decides to make a grand gesture to make things right and show her how much she's loved. He cancels her plane tickets to school and decides to load up the car for a good old-fashioned family road trip.
Every single movie where the dad decides road trip is the way to go, it doesn't turn out the way it's supposed to.
Not so much. And so what ensues is much more than they could expect. There's a robot uprising, which because there's a big tech giant, Mark Bowman, who's voiced by Eric Andre. He's introducing his new PAL software, an upgrade on the previous version, which leads to the previous generation of software of PAL to become upset and to launch a robot attack. PAL is voiced by Academy Award winner Olivia Colman. And suddenly, a robot attack happens. Humans are being enslaved, and it comes down to one family and their dog to save the day. And it's you have a huge voice cast of comedic actors in here, like voicing the robots. Fred Armisen, Conan O'Brien, like a ton of them, and robots that kind of fill all these different roles of how effective they are.
The director, he voice acts for the little boy.
Yeah.
And that one was probably the only one that was not that good.
Yeah.
Every time that boy spoke, it was like, oh.
But he also wasn't given a ton
True.
of dialogue,
Yeah.
like out of everyone. And it's basically, for me, it kind of scratched that itch of the good old-fashioned family road trip.
Yeah.
I'm kind of a sucker for a lot of those.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and that's it. I'm down with that.
Your favorite one was the last National Lampoon movie.
I knew you were going to say that. I walked out on that movie. I think that's the animation that sets this movie apart, though.
Yeah. It's definitely, you got a lot of mixed media in there. A little bit of cell shading with 3D effects. You have real pictures. You have one-dimensional animations for like emotions and stuff. It goes at a nice pace and it all flows together really nicely.
Yeah.
It gets a little crazy at times, which it is a kid's cartoon, and some of the stuff it's like, that was a little too much for me. But overall, this movie is very endearing. I love the story of the father trying to bond with his daughter and just not knowing how to do it.
Yeah.
And Katie not really understanding all the things that her parents have gone through, especially her dad, in order for her to have this awesome life that no one really realizes until they're much older and they're adults.
Start to appreciate it.
Yeah, and then they're like, oh, yeah, that kind of sucked.
Yeah, part of it kind of reminded me of like the Lego movies, like this kinetic energy. Mm-hmm. And you're like, oh, it's just so much is being thrown at me.
Yeah.
But I had a lot of fun with it. It's filled with jokes. It's got some heart. It's got a nice message to it. I had a lot of fun. I think the animation, like we need more studios to continue to kind of push forward on the animation front as they're doing. I mean, this is a lot of the same visual artists that worked on Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. You see a lot of that built into this. And I like all of these studios that are pushing in different directions. What can we do with animation? I think we're going to get a lot more of that because animators have had a lot of time to sit around and come up with cool ideas.
I've been noticing it more and more over the past couple of years. For the longest time, everybody just wanted to do what Toy Story did.
Let's get on the Pixar train, and even if it's 80% of what Pixar does, hopefully people love it. And that didn't always work.
And you didn't really have to tell a story like that all with the same visuals.
Yeah.
Great thing about animation, and they've done this with cartoons for many decades, is everybody has a different visual style.
Yeah.
It's so easy to just fall in a cookie cutter when you have a computer in front of you, and they decided to actively go outside that mold, and it really works. And they did it with Wolf Walkers, and there was that other one with the redheaded kids that I just absolutely loved.
I can't pull the name of it right now, but yeah.
And I
with
love
the cotton candy hair.
Yeah, I love seeing all this new
keep
animation.
pushing the ball forward on this, right?
Next thing you know, we'll have a Salvador Dali type movie, and we're just like, I don't even know what I'm looking at, but it's great.
Critics love it. What did you end up giving The Mitchells versus the Machines?
I give it a 3.5. It is a fantastic movie. I think it's well worth watching.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. What was great was it was one of those movies that the entire family really enjoyed. My daughter loved it, and I gave it 4 stars. Like, I love this movie. You all right with that?
Yeah.
You look confused.
Yeah, I'm a little confused.
That's all right. I'm giving Mitchell versus the Machines 4 stars, sir. All right. We have a movie throwback this week that is a little different from our other movie throwbacks. Sir, what are we talking about?
We're talking about Brick Mansions. Now, if you're wondering why we are talking about this movie, it is the first movie we reviewed over 7 years ago.
First episode, yeah.
And this was the first one where we're like, oh, I really hope we don't have to buy all these movies.
Right.
Brick Mansions, if you are not aware of it, this is Paul Walker's one of his last films. We had a Fast and Furious, which was the last one, but this one was pretty much cottonballed or mothballed for a little bit.
Mothballed, yeah.
So we have Damian Collar, played by Paul Walker. He is a Detroit detective from in the future where a section of Detroit is walled off, and this is where your hardest criminals.
The cops have just given up that part of the city to the criminals.
This is not what we're going to deal with anymore. But life still goes on, usually with crime and parkour.
Love it.
A lot of people jumping around, and this is the big draw of the movie, is people are doing flips and jumping off buildings and jumping through small spots. Most of that is done correctly by Lino, played by David Bell. And then we have Paul Walker, which is a lot of you see his face and then someone else does it.
You notice that.
Including in fighting scenes where you're like, these fighting scenes could be really cool, but they just kind of shake around and pan to the things that they're being hit with.
This really felt like 2014.
It really did. And you know what? Over 7 years ago, I gave this a 1.5. I didn't like this, but on second watch, it brought back kind of good memories.
Yeah.
It's so weird. I mean, this is a bad film. You have RZA, who plays this gangster who just kills people because he wants to make a point to someone else, and then later on, he's going for mayor, and everybody loves him.
He's got a weapon of mass destruction. He's got the mayor kidnapped. He's got Lino's girlfriend, all this stuff going on. He's like full on. If he had a mustache, he'd be twirling it as he's got a missile, something that's going to explode.
And everybody forgives him over 5 minutes because he has a speech about just doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And everybody's like,
yeah, RZA,
all those
I'm
people
with
you killed, they probably deserved it.
It's wild because just the way the action was shot, I'm watching it, and it just, there's a time period of like the early 2010s where I feel like the latter Jason Bourne movies, a lot of movies were really copying that frenetic, like Paul Greengrass style of, we just got to make a lot of quick cuts. You don't want to really see a lot of the action. And, we'll have a lot of, parkour was huge at that time, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
the Bourne series had a lot of parkour in it. The Bond series had a lot of parkour at that time. That was the fighting style of the future.
This was the first movie that I felt like it was kind of like Rad, where they were like, this is really why people watch movies, not for the story. We're going to just give them parkour.
I feel like in the 80s, there was like 1984, we had 3 breakdancing movies come out in 1984.
Yeah.
And you go through. We also had the small stretch of time where like all the BMX movies were coming out, right? I feel like
Gleam in
this,
the Cube.
yeah,
That's
like
all
this
skateboards.
small window is like, oh man, parkour, guys.
Yeah.
Remember that the parkour, like a 3-year window that was all anyone wanted to do.
But I think everybody's favorite media clip of parkour is probably Office Space.
Hardcore parkour.
Yeah, hardcore parkour. There's one part of the movie that I get a chuckle. There's a lot of branding in this.
Yeah.
And they steal this Mustang, and everybody's like, hey, hey! You got one guy in the background, and it's subtitled so I could read it, and one guy doesn't say anything bad. He just goes, Mustang!
Oh my god. That's the thing is like.
You watched the extended version,
I
though.
did. I did not know there was an extended version. I discovered there was. I watched that. I couldn't tell you what was different because I vaguely remember any details about this movie from 7 years ago. It's got okay action.
Yeah.
I don't think the action's spectacular in any way. The plot is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And you have Paul Walker, who, rest in peace, plays this like he knows he's in a bad movie, I feel like.
Yeah.
Like, Paul Walker, yeah, I don't think he was like one of America's great actors, and this did not help the case.
No.
A lot of the action just didn't land for me on this rewatch. And then I talked to our station manager, like, hey, what did I give this? What were our scores at episode 1? He said 2.5 stars. You gave it. I was like, really? That score does not hold up for me today, because that would not be my score. This movie is closer. For me, this movie is closer to bad than to mediocre. And I gave it a mediocre on a first watch.
I think I remember when I reviewed this, I said, if it was a little worse, I probably would have liked it better.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I think that still would be, if this was worse,
Uh-huh.
I'd probably have more fun with
I
it.
could
It'd
just
be a
sit back-
guilty pleasure.
Yeah. Sharknado type stuff.
Yeah.
Even though I don't like Sharknado.
Yeah, but it's there.
Yeah, it's there.
thing.
It's a thing. And
Speaking
people
of
do
bad
it.
movies that get sequels. Bad boy. So yeah, anyways, that's Brick Mansions. Now, you might be asking, why are you reviewing a movie of this caliber that you've already reviewed ago, that came out less than 10 years ago? You're breaking all the rules. Why would you be doing this? Well, because we wanted to bring things full circle for you, as Mike, you have some news.
Yeah.
You can do this, buddy. Talk to the people.
Just let everybody know that this is going to be my last episode. God, stop it.
Oh, come on.
So it's just, life is really busy.
Yeah.
It's nothing hard. This has been part of my life for 7 years, and this is a huge part of my life. I identify with doing this show, and I'm very appreciative of all the people who helped make this happen. The people at the Sun Prairie Media Center, they are fantastic people. They're just not office people. They feel like family. Every
Right.
time you come in, they smile. They ask you how you're doing. It is fantastic being here, and I don't do this lightheartedly. This I've been thinking about for quite a while, but everybody's life is busy. And
Life gets in the way.
Life gets in the way, and we spend a lot of time on this. Everybody spends a lot of time on this. A lot of people don't know Jameson. He has other podcasts, and every week he dedicates at least 8 hours just to this show.
This show,
alone.
this show takes a lot of time, depending on how many movies we're talking about, prep, research, you and I just chatting about things.
Yeah.
There's a lot of hours that go into this behind the scenes.
And I do not achieve that much, but it's still a lot. And I'm just really proud that I've been a part of this. And I would like to thank everybody here. Everybody, Mara Trusty, fantastic. Rachel Packard, fantastic. I am about to break.
We'll get you there, don't worry.
Colin, Jeff Robbins, Lisa Wolf, as she went to do other things, but everybody here is fantastic. Most of all, I want to thank you, because you are fantastic. You are. I mean, you're a good dad. You work for the city of Madison. I know how hard that is, but you do it every day. And you do this show, and I just want to thank you very much for asking me to go on this adventure with you. So,
been a real pleasure. I mean, I assumed that when you said you were having to leave the show. You were going to finally start that cult that you've been wanting to start.
Well, it's in its baby
I'm kind of
steps.
disappointed to hear it's not that.
I just need members. I got the plan.
We're working on membership?
Yeah, just no one wants to believe anymore.
That's all right. You gave us a little note. You gave us your 2 weeks notice.
Yeah, I did.
Gave us some word that you were taking leave of us, and we reached out to a friend who sent a special message for you, and we want to take a look at this message that we have for you, sir, as we leave.
Hey there, Mike Roth. It's your old buddy Kate.
Oh, no way!
Jameson Rabbit and the Sun Prairie Media Center wanted me to thank you for all your hard work that you've done over the years on Real Reviews with Jameson Rabbits. You've spent 7+ years, recorded 350+ episodes, and you will be missed, even though you can never pronounce the actors or directors' names right. They're going to miss you, and they all wish you the best, and they truly does appreciate you, and that's one hundo piece, not even allegedly's. So all the best with your future endeavors. Hope you have a great year. Hope it's a safe and healthy 2021. And for me and mine to you and yours, all the best. And cheers, bud. Thank you so much for watching.
That is awesome. Squirrely Dan is awesome. He is a great comedian. There's not enough out there of him doing his stand-up. When he does all the Captain Crunches you could find in America, I just was rolling laughing. God, that is awesome.
Well, we thought we'd
Go
give
to
you a
James.
little somebody to talk to you, and we have some pictures up here that we kind of put together in the meantime. But I just want to tell you, from me to you, that it's been a real joy. Look at this here. Put that full screen.
Oh, wow.
It's been a joy doing this with you. I have looked forward to doing this show with you every week for the last 7 years. I have valued your opinions. You have made watching even bad movies tolerable and sometimes even fun, like that horrible Elvis movie.
Identity.
You've taken the bullet on some truly terrible movies. Look at these guys, huh? Look at how young we used to be. And I've just really enjoyed collaborating with you, coming up with different ideas for this show. You've gotten me to watch films I never thought I would. And like I said, I know how many hours you put into this. I mean, good grief. Both of our hair used to look very different, too.
Yeah.
Oh, look at McAllister, speaking of hair. Huh? Our buddy Chris McAllister, the first guy to work on this program with us.
Yeah, it was so cool working with your son, too.
Yeah, my
that
son.
year.
Yeah, we had Shiloh. We've had a lot of people come through here and work with us. But look at it. Mara as our skeleton.
Oh.
Gosh, a couple of dashing gentlemen over there. And there's one of the
We
early
have
episodes.
but this has been really a journey. It really has.
One of the things that I really appreciate is you and I have developed a shorthand over the years.
Uh-huh.
That is awesome. Like, we don't have to, I feel like with a look, I can communicate to you like, hey, we need to move on or whatever. We pick up cues from each other. We have a shorthand. We're just talking about movies because we've discussed so many. I was going to do the math, but I didn't. It's got to be over 1,000 movies that we've discussed. I mean, you figure it's like 4 a week.
Yeah. Yeah.
368 episodes. And so we get this shorthand, and I find myself, when I watch movies, I'm thinking to myself, what do Mike thinks this? Mike probably gives this a this, or Mike probably is going to love this, or, oh, Mike's really going to hate this. And it's just something I think about, and I want to just thank you for creating this with me. It was you and I that made this together. You have made this show what it is. You're not going to get me to break, though, I'll tell you what. We are going to miss your laugh around here, man, and I think I can speak not only for myself, but everyone here at the Media Center, that the Sun Prairie Media Center, that K-Sun, everyone here, it's a better place for having you here all these years. And we hope this isn't goodbye. We hope it's just,
No,
see you later.
If you need me, well, you need someone to come in.
Yeah.
I'll come in.
Okay.
I just
I'm going to hold you to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be very different. We understand sometimes you just have to do what you have to do.
This has been a really hard past couple of weeks. It really has.
Yeah. It's going to be very different. Next week, things are going to look very different around here on the show. Again, everything that Real Reviews has become has been you and I working on it and, coming up with various segment ideas. I've always enjoyed your ideas on some of them. And, we have different ways of coming about things. And you come up with some ideas. I'm like, that's brilliant. I love that.
I really wanted to use aspect ratio at least one more time.
I know. I think about it now and I see it. Oh, Mike, his aspect ratio. I know it. But like I said, starting next week, things are going to look different around here, obviously. But I'm going to have some special guests here. Next week, I'm going to have our old friend Jeff Robbins, who's been in here filling in for me. You've done shows with him. I don't think I've ever done a show with him. I believe he's filled in for me in the past.
You have the record on how many shows. For the longest time, I had that one day ahead of you.
Right?
And then I
So
screwed
close.
it up one time where you're like, where are you? I'm like, that show's tomorrow.
That was the best.
Oh, that was terrible. You did it all by yourself.
That was the worst. But Jeff's going to be joining me next week. We're going to talk about movies such as Wrath of Man, Here Today, and Little Fish. That'll all be our show next week. But we encourage you, if you follow us on social media, if you find us on Facebook or Instagram, we are there. Real Reviews TV on Instagram. Go over, give some well wishes to this guy. Tell him you're going to miss him because we are going to miss him so dearly. Things are going to be strange around here. I'll say that. So, sir, thank you again.
Yeah.
Until next week, though, I'm Jameson.
I'm Mike Roth.
Thanks for watching.
My name is Jameson Rabbit. Joining me today is the man who lost to Johnny Lawrence in the Karate Kid prequel, Mike Roth. How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm doing good. I was just reading your Wikipedia page, and that's what I saw.
Well, don't believe everything you read on the internet.
All right, duly noted. Duly noted. So we are Real Reviews. I'll take a second to explain what and who we are. Real Reviews is not. We will not be reviewing the latest in fishing reels to come out on the market if that's what you're looking for. We're not going to be discussing that so much, but hopefully if you stick around, you'll find something that entertains you here. What we are is a movie show. We're going to be discussing movies that are out in the theaters right now, talking about some movies maybe from the past, and looking forward into movies that are coming out into the theaters in the upcoming weeks, so you know kind of what's coming out soon. So as I said, my name is Jameson. I've been reviewing movies for the past several years, various podcasts that I'm a part of, and I have a wide taste in movies, I think. Kind of like everything from documentaries to your big budget summer popcorn movies, with one caveat in that I am not a big fan of horror movies. But luckily, that's where Mike steps in.
Extremely big fan of horror movies. I know it's not everybody's genre, but I like the intense emotion that you usually get with horror films, and you could get creative, just like with sci-fi. You could do pretty much anything as long as at some point you are scared.
Sure, okay.
I do like all movies. I am not the biggest fan of what guys would call chick flicks.
Okay, fair enough.
Rom-coms, not really getting into
Not
it.
your strong suit?
No,
Okay.
but otherwise, I love all movies, all the way from your early noir films to current times.
Excellent. That's what we're going to be talking about here is nothing but movies.